So by yesterday evening, his family contacted me and said he's missing. And after discussions and inquiries, we suspected that he was abducted while at the Riverside apartments by security agents from his home country, aided, facilitated by Kenyan authorities.
Yes, it is now very clear that William Ruto is turning into a dictator after the Gen Z came out on the street to protest. Normally, leaders across the globe, when they face a revolution, after surmounting it, they turn into bloody dictators. A case in example in Kenya, after the failed coup of Moi, he turned to a dictator. And it's happening to William Ruto. Ever since the Gen Z's happened, we've seen William Ruto shifting from his principles, attacking church leaders. And today, Kizza Besigye was abducted from the Kenyan soil, repatriated to Uganda, which is by the contrary to the international laws. Martha Karua came out to reveal that Kizza Besigye was abducted from Kenyan soil when he had come to launch a book. Normally, Kenya had decided to give a safe haven to Ugandans in terms of playing politics. In fact, this has been historical. In the 1980 war of Uganda, we saw Moi together with John Kaguta Museveni in peace talks with Tito Kiro Lutwa.
I have repeatedly stated in the past that carnage and insecurity which have plagued Uganda for close to 20 years have to be arrested by conscious human efforts.
I'd like to announce to the world that the signing of this peace agreement here today is a victory for the people of Uganda as a whole. I want the world to understand this. The people of Uganda, the population, did not start violence. I was not a soldier, I was an intellectual. Why did I become a soldier? I became a soldier to defend myself and my people against state-inspired violence. People were killed in 1964. Our people were killed in 1966. Our people were killed in 1969. Amin killed our people from 1971 to 1979. Milton Obote killed our people from 1981 to 1985.
So Kenya has been a contemporary of democracy across East Africa. Even with the loopholes, Kenya has been the biggest democracy. It has been transited from one president to another with minimal damage. Okay. In fact, Kenya has a bigger democracy than Tanzania. Tanzania is almost a one-party state. So when we see a leader from Uganda like Kizza Besigye being abducted from the Kenyan soil, taken back to Uganda without following the due process, we are supposed to suffer. So in this episode, I've come to talk about dictator William Ruto, who's failing each and every constitutional tendencies in the 2010 constitution, okay, by abducting opposition leaders from other countries, by abducting Kenyans, what it means for our country, and most importantly, the study materials we can learn from the politics of our nation. But before I do this, I want to let you know that if you're new to this channel, please subscribe. If geopolitics and economics is what you want, this would be definitely the right channel for you to subscribe to. So, Kizza Besigye, a prominent opposition leader who has stood against General Kaguta Museveni for the longest, came to Kenya to launch a book with Martha Karua. And his family went on Twitter and to say that he is nowhere to be seen. He was abducted from his hotel room, taken back to Uganda. Kenyans who are watching this video should understand that international does not allow a person to be repatriated from one country to another, except there is a Magnitsky law that must be evoked. But there must be something to follow. In the Kenyan regard, a statutory operative from Uganda enters Kenya, abducts a person with the aid of the Kenyan state and takes them to Uganda. That is complice to crime. That's the fact. And it's not a good sign for the Kenyan democracy. Abductions are rampant. It started when they are abducting people from Kenya after the Gen Zs. Very many people were abducted. Yes, William Ruto stood on the flag of stopping abductions, but he's doing worse. Panic said that he's now abducting foreign nationals. Before I proceed, I want to play you a tape of Martha Karua narrating the story. Here is the tape.
I had invited the Honorable Kizza Besigye to my book launch on the 17th afternoon, that is Sunday. I had indication that he would arrive on Saturday and he would be available to attend and make a few remarks. He was not sure. Sunday passed. Monday, we just thought, one can be unable to come for various reasons. Then on Monday, there was concerns about his whereabouts by family members. And yesterday evening, they confirmed that indeed he was missing and that he had gone for a meeting. He had booked at Waridi Paradise Hotel in Kilimani, had taken a taxi to Riverside Apartments. The apartment number is given in the statement we issued today. And he had gone into the meeting, leaving the taxi man at the basement of the building around 4:30. And the taxi person waited until 4 a.m. on Sunday. And when Besigye did not respond to the many text messages, that's when he left. So by yesterday evening, his family contacted me and said he's missing. And after discussions and inquiries, we suspected that he was abducted while at the Riverside Apartments by security agents from his home country, aided, facilitated by Kenyan authorities. Remember, there is no way you can take an abductee either by air or by road without going through immigration. That's why I say confidently, aided and abetted by the Kenyan authorities. Today, we have reports that he was taken before a court-martial in Uganda, just like we were suspecting. Allegations that he was found with 2 pistols here in Kenya, with which he was going to attack military installations. I wonder whether they are enough even to attack a well-guarded house, leave alone a military installation. You'd expect they would be talking of a cache of arms. How did he come with 2 pistols on board a commercial plane? Why would they not arrest him if he has 2 illegal pistols in Uganda and on Ugandan soil? These are excuses dictators give. And it looks like we have 2 dictators side by side, William Ruto and one Yoweri Museveni. I'm fearing. Everybody now fears going across the border. I wouldn't want to go to Uganda now, lest Ruto follows me there to abduct me, the way Besigye was followed by Museveni's people.
That is Martha Karua. you clearly see that as a country you cannot stand up for these unconstitutional tendencies. Kenya has been an apple of democracy growing. William Ruto is putting the veil back. At least this opposition leader would have been abducted from other countries. It can have an effect on the tourism. Kenya has had the biggest tourism in East Africa. It's going to have a toll in the tourism. The Gen Zs will have a toll in security and the economy. And things are happening. The Kenyan government has come out to deny that they don't know anything. And they have not come out to condone the Ugandan state of coming into Uganda to abduct Kizza Besigye. So that is mischief. When you have eyes to look through the holes, you clearly see that the Kenyan state operative were involved. If not so, Kenya would have come out to condemn the Ugandan state for entering Uganda and abduct a person without letting them to know. But if they keep quiet, it is complice to crime. That's the truth. It is the reason as to why these things are happening, I think, is that William Ruto is a friend to General Kaguta Museveni. Even in the campaign, he used to visit him a lot. Even when Uhuru Kenyatta banned him from entering Uganda, it was because of that. In fact, I have a lot of pictures with Ruto, with President Museveni before he became president. I want to play a tape. That is Ruto and Mr. President. So these things happening, they are not supposed to make us proud. We are spreading doom to our country, and it is not right. Okay? In a letter that even James Orengo came out to rebuke what happened, to rebuke what is happening to Uganda, because what happened in Uganda is not near to making us proud. James Orengo also came out with a communication calling out the Kenyan government, okay, for acting as a brother in crime, for abducting a person of a foreigner and take them back to their country, which is contrary to the 2010 constitution and the international law. Orengo, in a communication, he came out to say, and I quote, "It is disturbing to learn that Kizza Besigye, a well-known Ugandan patriot and a prominent political leader, was abducted in Nairobi and driven across the border to Uganda against his will, having entered Kenya lawfully. Mr. Besigye did not come to Kenya as a fugitive." The most disturbing question in this saga is that the abduction was carried out by the elements of the Kenya security organs. And if that was not so, then it would raise fundamental questions about the ability and authority of our security agencies. The Kenyan government must demand the immediate release of Mr. Kizza Besigye until the circumstances of the abduction is established, determined, because there is a framework in our laws that could have been invoked in compliance with the dictates of the rule of law and democratic principles. Abductions characterize the operations and nature of the state in Kenya and violate the principles and values of the Constitution of 2010. Kenya must decide whether they want to be constitutional democracy governed by the primary of Bill of Rights and tenets of justice, or a tyranny. Signed, James Orengo. So you clearly see even James Orengo is coming out to call out the Kenyan state for abducting a foreign nation in the names of Dr. Kizza Besigye. And it shows a lot of loopholes since William Ruto as a sympathizer of General Kaguta Museveni. No Kenyan should be proud. So for me, I think the reason as to why is the Kenyans are doing this, because it's not the first time. The other day they abducted 35 FDC officials who had come to, I think, to do political search with the ODM, repatriated them to Uganda, charged them with felony. Okay? So I think Ruto is scared of what would happen. Since he tested the terrain of the Gen Zs, at some point he came out to say that Ugandans participated in the protest. He came out to say that. So he's fearing any political crossover from Uganda to Kenya. And is trying to remove the pause to fight for his government not to crumble. And in the process of removing their pause, he would also want to suffocate other opposition leaders, of course unlawfully. And that is unfortunate. Of course, that's my opinion. Do me a comments by commenting about this. Thank you very much for listening in. If this is your first time on this YouTube channel, I employ you to subscribe, like, and comment so that I can be motivated to do more such videos. I'll see you on another one. Peace.